The priest slashed through the canopy blocking the sunlight, and the man's face was immediately scorched by the incoming rays. The people witnessing this screamed as if they had seen a ghost.
It's true! He's a monster!
The villagers raised their torches high and set the house ablaze. They had long forgotten that Dracula was their leader. His wife, Marina, rushed forward to explain, but no one was willing to listen. At this moment, the villagers had completely lost their minds, only wanting to burn Dracula alive. Yet, Dracula emerged from the flames unscathed, and the villagers looked on in disbelief. In that moment, Dracula was filled with intense anger, thinking that his subjects had betrayed him.
You are alive because of me! Because of what I did to save you!
Seeing Dracula so agitated, Marina hurried to calm him down. Looking at her pained expression, Dracula could only force himself to calm his anger. Even if these people didn't understand gratitude, at least his beloved trusted him. He then remembered he had to fight a hard battle against the Turks, so he decided not to dwell on the villagers' betrayal, but rather ordered everyone to be on high alert. Once back at the castle, Dracula used the echolocation of bats to scout the enemy from miles away, and found that they were getting very close. Unfortunately, dawn was about to break, and Dracula could not be exposed to the sunlight. He had to persuade his wife to leave with their son, but his wife insisted she would fight by his side until death. As dawn broke, the Sultan led an army of 100,000 down to the monastery hill. Looking at the swarm of soldiers below, Dracula began to devise a strategy for dealing with them. At that moment, a bat flew past his head, and he instinctively followed it. He arrived at the highest point of the watchtower, and saw a dense mass of bats. He raised his hand, trying to control the bats. The bats felt the call of the dark power, and spread their wings, screeching in response. But that was still not enough. Bats from the surrounding peaks were also summoned, flying in swarms towards the monastery. In no time, the top of the watchtower was surrounded by countless bats, all circling around. Dracula gestured, controlling the swarm of bats, aiming at the advancing Turkish army. Once he locked onto his target, Dracula waved his hand again, ordering the bats to attack the Turkish forces. The bats swarmed and swept over the entire army like a frenzy. Dracula clenched his fists and struck the ground, and the swarm of bats transformed to mimic his fist, descending upon the army. In an instant, the 100,000 troops suffered heavy casualties. In the chaos, Dracula spotted the Sultan's position. He knew that if he could eliminate the Sultan, the army would fall apart without a fight. Thus, Dracula transformed into a bat and flew onto the battlefield. But just as he prepared to strike, he discovered that this Sultan was a fake.